Welcome to Salaam Nerds Podcast. We do reviews and recaps of nerd culture, reality TV, and current events from this week.
Yo, it's the Salaam Nerds. My name is Steve, aka Watch the Deep, and I'm here with my boy Chad.
We drop live episodes on YouTube on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. All episodes can also be found everywhere podcasts are found. Thank you to all our supporters. Please help us by subscribing and leaving a good review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yo, Salaam Nerds. It's your boy Neebs, aka Watch with Neebs, and I'm here with my co-host Jeff, aka DJ Bunta Tree.
DJ Bunta Tree. Did you get taller?
No, I'm not taller. Are you taller?
I feel like you got taller.
No, I got a haircut, so maybe it makes me look a little taller. I don't know. I don't know how a haircut can make you look taller, but I got a haircut. That's about it.
Okay.
But listen, before we get into Star Wars, since it is our weekly episode, and normally on Sundays we do Salaam Weeklies where we give you guys updates on our lives, but we also give you guys news. I want to share some cool stuff that happened this week.
Oh, go for it. I saw your
You saw my TikTok and my reel.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. It's so weird how like one tiny thing can lead to another, with like gaps in between. So I'm a big believer in the butterfly effect, right? Like one tiny thing happens and it leads to many things. In fact, I wrote an entire book on this, and hopefully one day it'll come out. But
Okay.
we did Miss Marvel way back in the day. Like, when Miss Marvel came out, around the time we did this podcast. And one of our friends
About a year or 2 years ago.
2 years ago, right? Yeah. So one of my friends, Ali, got me an invite to Pillars Fun, got me an invite to the event, and you and me, Jazz, we went, we met all the people. We also met one of our friends, Aisha, who introduced me to another event that was happening, sponsored by Brown Girl Magazine. And I did a lot of collaborations with Brown Girl Magazine. So forward a few years later, I'm at the Monkey Man premiere. And I'm premiering for Monkey Man. And I make this really cool reel for Monkey Man. And what I do, somebody saw my reel, and they said, hey, we need a reel for that event too. Could you make us a reel? So Brown Girl Magazine recommended me to this other company, and I made them a really cool reel for Monkey Man. It was like on Instagram. They really liked it. I took I took his like speech and I put it in the background and I made a really cool thing. They really liked it. They're like, hey, we would love to pay you to make reels for us. And I was like, yeah, sure, I could do it. I could spare some time. So I made some reels for them, and like they weren't like the best because like they were good, but like the quality of video that they give me are not good because they're like secondhand and they're in different formats and the aspect ratio's off. So Tribeca Film Festival is happening, and I was like, I could do a much better job if I could go to these events and do them in person, right? With my own camera and everything. So I go to the event and I'm ready to do reels for this company.
Okay.
And their client is Karan Johar. And I'm like,
just casually Karan Johar, right? Like,
and I'm just like, am I making reels for Karan Johar?
I was wondering how you got looped into that, but yeah.
That's so it's for this movie called Kill, which is a great movie. I really recommend it. It is like one of those Korean style brutal violent action flicks with like no thoughts, head empty, just crazy action. The entire movie takes place on an Indian train. It's really good. It's phenomenal. Think like Bullet Train to Busan, Bullet Train, Old Boy, all meshed together. It's really cool. But Indian, right? And there's no like Islamophobia or anything like that, so it's cool. I was like, all right, like I really enjoyed it. And then I was hanging out with the stars and the producers and Gern Johar, and I was making reels for them. It was super cool. But not only that, I got to go to a bunch of other panels. The other panel I went to was for South Asian House, which had the star from Royal Pains, the Indian girl from Royal Pains, Reshma Shetty. She was on that panel, so I got to meet her. That was really cool. And the director and producer of the movie Lunchbox, which is like a critically acclaimed Indian cinema movie, really, really good. So met these two people, and then they're like, okay, we got to go on to the next one. So I go to the next place where I got to make some reels, and it's Mehdi Hassan and what you call it, Arian Moore, who is who plays the guy from Secession. He's also in Miss Marvel, Agent Cleary.
Yeah. Mhm.
That guy. And I'm like hanging out with these guys and making reels for them. So I'm just like, oh, what is going on?
What kind of job did you get, man? Like,
And then I go to another event, a Tribeca event, and it's for this singer who has a bunch of her songs in a movie, and her name is Mitu, and she is a South Asian
oh,
jazz singer, and it's like
yeah,
Asian jazz,
yeah.
which you're also South Asian jazz, but that's not what I mean.
No, I know. I'm actually a fan of this woman. Like, okay,
Oh,
cool.
really? Yo, she was really
Yeah.
chill. She was really nice, and I'm making
Yeah.
reels for her. So I'm making reels for her, and
Damn.
then I was supposed to go to a fourth event, which was taking place at Gava House for Muslim people to network, the Muslim
Ugh.
networking event, and I decided not to go to that one. I was done. I couldn't do it, but that was crazy. It was a lot of cool events that I went to, and then I went to a premiere of the movie that I'm in, Criteria Kya Hai, with our friend Anissa.
Anissa,
And
yeah.
yeah, she held the screening, and we went to the screening, and it was really good. And her movie is really good. I was like, you know what, man? I got to be in it, so I'm gonna promote it anyways. I don't care. But it was actually a really good short film, and I thought it was gonna be like a very generic, fun little story. But it's got a surprise ending. Like, not a surprise ending, but it's a very poetic kind of ending. Like, it wasn't like the generic ending that I thought we were gonna get. It was good. It was a good movie. I really liked it. It was a fun movie. I love being a part of it, but I love the fact that it's actually pretty good. So I'm pretty excited. So it was an exciting week, bro. It was an exciting week.
Yeah, man. All I did was, go to the Texas Democratic Party convention and pass a bunch of things for Palestine. Like,
I feel
doing
like you
sounds
did
way
some.
more fun.
But yours seems more important. Though the Mehdi Hassan one, they did talk a lot about Palestine at their panel, which was cool. And they talked about strategizing and what people's red lines should be and how to work within the system, which some people may or may not agree with. But it's you got to figure out how to make a difference the best way you can. And they kind of talked about that. It was very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people are just emotional and they don't really understand the system.
Yeah.
One of the most frustrating things for me is when I see people going to City Hall demanding ceasefires, and I'm like, all right, that would have been cool months ago, but we have to deal with Congress who actually can do something about it. And I don't know why people think government's like customer service, right? Where you start at
They
City
can just
Hall,
carry their
then
way
you go to
into.
the state, then you go to the Fed level, and you can carry your way up. And no, it doesn't work like that. And so
What? You can't just carry your way up to democracy?
you cannot, unfortunately.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
So I'm probably gonna get flamed for saying hey, the city council stuff's kind of ineffective, which quite frankly it is.
I mean, it's good for getting awareness out there, at least, but it goes viral.
It's the slowest way to do something, though, man. If you want actual results, or
Yeah.
you want Instagram likes, take your pick here. What do you actually want?
I don't know, man. Right now, I'll take whatever I can get, but I do think efforts should be focused more on the things that actually work. So I agree with you, Jazz. But I'm not knocking anything because
I'm not
we
knocking
desperate.
them. I just wish
We
they
desperate.
would. I wish they would do more than just city stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to do instead of diverting all your efforts on city council.
Well, speaking of corrupt institutions, let's talk about the Jedis.
Oh yeah, we're not doing Salaam Weekly. That's right. We're doing an episode on the Acolyte.
I know. Sorry, guys. I mean, it's just like half Salaam Weekly and half Acolytes. Well, we'll do a little bit of both. All right. Listen, let's talk about Acolytes. All right. We start off with this episode. We're in Brendok. Osha and May are in the forest. May is casually playing with these animals. Like they're kind of like dragonflies. She can stop them in the air. And then she finds May. May also stops them in the air, but Osha says, "Hey, stop it! You're hurting it." So they're both like, don't know how to control their powers. And then Mother Coral comes and finds them. And before that, they kind of discuss that, hey, Osha does not want to ascend. She doesn't want to be a witch. And they're kind of going back and forth about this. And as they're going and they're leaving, Soul is spying on them. What are your thoughts about that?
What a cop.
Why are Jedi's spying and looking for children? Like, what is going on? First of all, here's what doesn't make sense to me. They're like, we thought your planet was uninhabited, and then we think you have children here. Like, why are there 4 Jedi's posted there if it was uninhabited? Like, that sounds sus to me,
It's very sus.
right?
But like just casually 4 Jedi just spying on this like enclave of witches, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel good.
Like, I do appreciate that we're getting more lore. Like, this has been a long time coming, right? And people are like, oh, this show is woke, they're making the Jedi feel like cops. But like, no, like the idea that these Jedis were this valuable, institution has been around since the prequels, right? Episode 1, Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon is like questioning the Jedi. And that's the first movie in the prequel. Literally the first movie chronologically, right? So it's been there from the beginning. And now we're finally getting to see this unfold. And it's not something that's been like came out of nowhere. Which I really, really like. So I'm liking that we can see it. And I don't mind that, we get this idea that there was a type of Jedi council, and then there was reform, and we had another type of Jedi, and then they went extinct, and then they came back, and now they're gonna have another reform with Rey Skywalker, right? So I don't mind that. I like the idea of like cops being reformed if they are space cops.
They're
Which-
definitely space cops.
Yeah. Well, in this show, they're definitely space cops. They're like walking around with mysteries and have handcuffs. They got motherfucking handcuffs, bro. When
Right,
did
yeah,
Jedi
like-
get handcuffs?
There's no denying it. They're just straight up cops.
Right? Their lightsabers is their guns.
Their gun, yeah. And
Right?
the badges, they can have that mantle.
Oh my god, the entire episode started because the Jedi died. This is a Jedi Lives Matter show.
Wow. This guy.
I never thought about it that way. That's pretty. That's pretty. Why is our show so political? I hate how political we get sometimes. Oh my god.
Right? It's like, hey, I'm not political,
Yeah.
Can't Sprite in. Let me tell you about Karl Marx. Like,
All right. So we see Mother Kroll, and she seems to have horns on her head. So she's kind of like a Dathomirian or a Ira demon or something like that. Kind of like Maul or Visage. And like apparently like it's not uncommon for these like Dathomir witches have people in them and they become Sith. So they have like a relationship with the Sith people. They're not specifically the Sith, but they do have a relationship with the Sith. We know that they go back. And then the kids are there. They want to eat ice cream, but they're like, one of their moms says no, the other one says yes. So it kind of gives you an idea. Like one mom is really strict, one mom is not so strict. Apparently this right here is the entire basis of why this show is getting like review bombed, because the twins have the same, they have 2 mothers.
is that it?
Yeah, and probably because they're black. Like these Star Wars fans are horrible. Like they're
Hold
horrible.
up.
They're
Hold
women,
up.
they're people of color, and they're lesbians. Like that's the trifecta of like making these toxic fanboys like review bomb stuff.
So let's just pretend this was a show about the Amazons, all right? And they're
Yeah,
all women and they all have like mothers only.
yeah.
And that would get review bomb too. Like, let's say we did a Wonder Woman thing from back in the day or something.
To be fair, Wonder Woman did get review bombed.
Oh, well, fuck.
To be fair, they get review bombed.
Okay, never mind. Okay, people are dumb.
But for the same reasons, because
Right,
there was
yeah,
no
I try to
pro-
have faith in people here.
No, man, don't have faith.
Let
in
down
people.
again, twice in a row.
People are horrible. People are horrible.
My God.
But yeah, this planet that they're on is a safe haven for their coven, right? So it kind of looks like they're the Night Sisters, but they're not the Night Sisters. They're kind of like their own thing. But we do know the Night Sisters exist because
yeah, they're on
we know,
Dathomir.
right? They're on Dathomir, and we Morgan Elsbeth from The Mandalorian. She's still a Night Sister. We saw her in that episode and also in Ahsoka. So we saw that. They're also the path of the open hand is another set of like kind of like witches and stuff like that. So it's really kind of interesting that they're showing that. And this show was originally pitched as a whatchamacallit, a
Ventress Assange.
Ventress Assange show, and they went away from that, which I wonder why. It's just kind of crazy, but like that sounds like a great idea. But yeah, they're kind of having the same vibe, which is why you see like these witches and they're kind of like Sith-esque. So I really see that, and I think it's really interesting. But they do go and talk about how they're twins, and because they're twins, they're special. Now I thought, oh, that just means
Dyad.
they're dyad force, right? But no, there's more. There's more. They were birthed in an unnatural way. They were like basically, it's really funny because like you didn't know who the mom was. I mean, you knew who the mom was because you're like, oh, the kids are black, so it's like, oh, that's the mom. But they actually
Funny
like
story.
they changed it up on you. The person who carried the kids was Mother Coral, but
And she's white.
and she's white, but Anasia, she created them, which is weird. So like I'm like, it's kind of like how we get the story of Anakin. Like Anakin's story is kind of just like they never explain it. His mom's just like, yeah, I was just born with him one day, and that was it. It was just all metachlorians, right? And then we just accepted that, and like he's Anakin is space Jesus. All of a
Space
sudden.
Jesus, yeah.
Right? That's it. But
And
now
we have twin women Jesus.
yeah, G's died. Is that the
Jesus.
plural? Oh man. We got Travis in the comments. He goes, how's it going, guys? I actually like this episode, most of 3. I did too. I like that they had a lot of mystery and now some of the questions are being answered. I really, really enjoyed that. I thought that was really cool. I did like when they have like the twins and they talk about the thread. And the thread is essentially the force. And it's so interesting how like they call it the thread and they call it the force. And they can both use it, but they have like different ways of like interpreting them. So it's almost like the 3 Abrahamic religions. Like they all believe in one God. They believe it came, all the Abrahamic stuff, and then it kind of just
Right.
like slides into like different parts, right? And
So
I kind of feel
the
like
Jedi, the Sith, and
the Jedi, the Sith, and the
witches.
Coven, right? They all use the Force, but in
Mhm.
different ways. They all like do some kind of meditation or prayer or whatever. They all have these exercises. They almost feel like 3 different religions, but the source is the same. It's still one monotheistic God or one monotheistic force, right? And then everything else is like their version of it, or they put a little seasoning and flavor to it, I guess.
That's a good way to explain it.
Right? I thought that was really cool. So we see the kids kind of like, getting trained, and they're bickering and fighting while they're explaining what's going
Kids.
on. And then she's talking to them about the power of two and how they're like so much stronger when they're like two of them and they use the force together, right? And then they weren't living, so she shoved them on the ground. It's just like somebody called Child Protective Services on these witches.
Maybe that's why the Jedi were there.
Is that what it's Jedi Child Protective Services?
In this case, yes. CPS are cops, by the way. So
That is true. That is true. Someone said basically it's like calling someone Jesus, Buddha. Only every person's religion is physically tangible thing. Yeah, it's kind of just like that, right? I agree. I definitely agree. So they do that, and then by the way, I know you mentioned the forced dyad thing. So like, can you explain the forced dyad thing, or do you want me to?
go for it. Yeah, because the dyad, like, I was trying to think back to Rey and Ben.
Yeah, Ray and
But,
Ben
like-
is the biggest example, right? Because they can can
Right.
heal each other. They can pass like things through physical space, like the lightsaber at the end of that.
communicate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They could have like full like face-to-face iPhone conversations in the Star Wars world.
Yeah, like telepathic FaceTime, right? It's great.
She just like FaceTimed him while he's shirtless, like using the Force. It's just so weird.
Right. But anyways, a dyad is a quirk in the Force where, two people are connected. And so here we are thinking these two twins are connected, but it's not exactly a dyad because they were created from the Force, which is really weird.
Really weird, man. Really weird. The thing about this show is that I've been saying this forever. This show is all about the mysteries. And once we get our questions answered, if they're not satisfying, the whole show falls apart. So a lot of the show kind of falls on like how good these mysteries are and how good it is, which is why I really like this show. We
Real quick,
see
go to the comment. This is a great comment, by the way.
okay. Travis says we see ET species in Phantom Menace, so technically our first dyad with Elliot and ET as it connects with the possible same in the movie as with Star Wars. Bro, Travis, you just blew my mind.
This is a great comment because that makes a lot of sense, unfortunately.
Mind blasting. Wow. This is looking like a vow. Wow. That is awesome.
ET phone home through the Force.
Through the Force. Yo, ET was definitely had the Force. That's so crazy.
I believe it.
Yeah, man. So we have these witches, and they're doing this like thing at night where like they're doing the ascension, and May go through the ascension, and they're doing like these weird dances, which are like kind of cringe. Cause have you ever seen the show called the OA?
No, I have not.
It is the
Do
weirdest.
I want to?
No, you don't. No, you don't. It's so
Okay.
weird. Apparently, like, I don't even know what this show is about because I only watched season once. But basically, they were all trapped in a place and being tortured, and they had to learn these dances to escape. Like these, like weird alternative, like dances. And basically, once they went and broke out, they went to school, and then one day at their school, a shooter comes in, and instead of trying to shoot the shooter, everyone's on the ground because the shooter's about to shoot someone. These kids stand up and start dancing. And the shooter is like, and you think like what's going to happen is they're going to like have some kind of power and they're going to like use their power on the gunman. But really, like they just distracted the the gunman long enough for the security guard to attack him, and they did that weird ass dancing for nothing. And I think like in season 2 and 3 they explain it, but like it's just stupid.
Yeah, for a second there, it sounded like you were telling me about the sun dancing from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It's
Where,
kind of
they're in
like
prison, they're on this island, had to learn to dance to escape. They're gonna
yeah,
use a dance in battle. Like that's totally Avatar right there.
it's like that, but not well executed. I don't know if anyone see the OA, but I'm an OA hater. I've never watched season 2 or 3. I have no idea what that was. I don't want to know. All right. So basically, the kids are a miracle. But as they're doing this ascension, the Jedis show up. The Jedis are back. And we got a more ET comment. Let me see what he says.
I know, yeah, we did, yeah.
ET can heal and they can both feel each other. Like when ET gets drunk and when ET sees the kid dressed as Yoda, he really says home, not friend. implant that do two species come from the same planet. Oh, that is insane. That is super crazy. All right. We can go down a rabbit hole with this. So
there's a whole episode we got to do on the connection between ET and Star Wars. Like,
oh, we might have to bring on Travis and like do a full in-depth like research. I'm gonna
we'll
chat
do a research paper, a dissertation, beginning, middle, and end. It'll be great.
That is true. All right. So the Jedi show up and they're like, we think that there are kids here because apparently only the Jedis can make like child soldiers.
Right? That's not weird at all.
Yeah. What did they say? They said something weird, like, "Oh, we do not like, take children." And I'm like, "Bitch, please, we know you take children."
They literally took Grogu.
Yeah, like I laughed, you laughed, the Force laughed, everybody laughed at that. That shit was funny. That shit was like bitch, no, yes, you do.
Yeah, they for sure do.
Oh my god, that shit was crazy. That was really, really funny. But did you notice how they had Daisy music when they were doing the Ascension and stuff? They had like
I did. I didn't
they
like it.
I didn't like it either. I mean, I didn't hate it, but it's kind of like it's like they're
It's a trope
using us.
almost.
They're using us a little bit because it's like Baranathium vocalizing. That's kind of what it was, and it's like, bro, it's like almost a religious thing. So like using it for like space wizards kind of feel a little weird because like I guess it feels foreign to you, so you want to use it, but like I don't know. There's no I didn't like it because like first of all you have no brown people in the scene. So like you're using stuff from brown people and not hiring any brown actors and giving it back. Like I feel like if you borrow from cultures, you have to give back to cultures, right? And you do that by having brown people on screen when you do that. That's what I feel.
That is
correct.
correct.
Like Dune is an example of like them taking so much from South Asian culture and Islamic culture and mostly Middle Eastern culture. But then when it's time to cast people, they decide not to give it back and not to really, showcase the people. Star Wars is all about using cultures without giving back. Exactly. And it's annoying.
Thank you, Snell, for that comment. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Oh my god. All right.
And Travis is back with the comments. I love it. When the mother was speaking and that one witch was randomly laughing in the background, I lost it. Yeah. That weird laugh. Like
why they do that? That's so funny. You know what it reminded me of? Like in One Piece, where it's like there's always like one background person saying something.
Right. Yeah. Like it was just so weird. Like
Yeah. Oh, so this is a great comment. Someone says, as a Vietnamese person, I didn't even notice until Rogue One that there were no Asians.
Yeah. You know what? We all kind of experienced that at some point.
I know, right? It's crazy. But yeah, like here's the thing, man. Like it does rub me the wrong way when they use stuff and they don't give it back. It's got to be a give and take kind of situation, I feel like.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. So the Jedis come in. And they're like, we weren't aware of that with life on this planet. And she goes, oh, so the Jedis were not were ignorant of their surroundings, which I thought was like a nice dig because the Jedi must always be aware of their surroundings. I was like, damn, she read him.
Get it? Yeah, like she read them like a book.
Yeah, and the first thing Indara does when she gets there, it's fucking lies. She lies through her mouth. She lies through her teeth. She lies through the Force. Like she just lies.
Everybody's laughing again, right?
Right? And I'm just like, come on,
You're
man.
laughing. I'm laughing.
Yeah, the Force is laughing.
Yoda's laughing. Mace Windu's laughing. The Force is laughing. Like
all the ghosts are laughing from the previous Force users. Yeah. Someone says, I noticed in the Phantom Menace the Queen's outfit is heavily East Asian inspired. Yep, very true. Very true. Travis says a wildcard idea is Indara the villain and she's alive and the masked dark side user. So a lot of people said this because she has a tattoo of a dot on her eye, and then when she died, she had 2 dots. So it's kind of interesting about why that is.
We're gonna have a dual twin thing going on here.
Yeah, she could have a twin also, right? The other thing I thought of was that people talked a lot about how the knife killed Indara, and she was like, Jedi can, really survive everything, and then she got killed by a fruit fly. But now that we learn like what they actually may have done, I can understand that after she find out who the person trying to kill her was, she may
Yeah.
have let her kill her.
Yeah. She was like, I'm gonna the same way Torben took the poison.
Took
Like,
the poison, right? So
yeah.
like
It's
two
like
people, they might have just like their heart wasn't in defending themselves, and because
Mhm.
of that, they died. And I wouldn't be. Someone said Indara got killed by a stick of juicy fruit gum. That's so
We
funny.
gotta bring Travis on someday. That's
No,
hilarious.
it's
We also
not
gotta bring
juicy
Sanel
fruit.
on one day.
It's not juicy fruit gum. It's double mint because of the twins.
Fuck out of here, man.
Double the pleasure, double the fun, bro.
I'm pretty sure that's a condom slogan, all right? Like,
Wait, what? All right, listen. Let's not get into double bagging. Let's go into
what?
what is that? Not what you're talking about. I thought
I'm
that's
out.
what. All right,
I'm out.
back to training children. So they ask the girl and she comes forward and like Osha, yo, what's up with Osha, man? Why is she like being such a brat? Like obviously the coven is like trying to protect you from these strangers, and she's like, I'm gonna walk out like like she was annoying me. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
You're old.
I
That's
am.
how I feel about it. Let the kids be kids.
It annoyed me until you find out later. Like he hands her a freaking Jedi, like basically like gun with no safety. Like he hands her a lightsaber.
There was a safety on there. Come on.
There's a safety in the lightsaber. It's like, when is this canon?
Mhm.
All right, fine.
The only
That's
difference
still-
is that it just
Listen, I still would you hand a 8-year-old child a fully loaded gun?
absolutely not.
What kind of space cops are they?
The bad kind, obviously.
The best kind. No, I'm just kidding.
The best kind.
Oh man. So they do that. And somebody told me that like the hilts on the lightsabers are heavier than we normally see them, which is interesting.
Yeah, they are. Mm-hmm.
That's a statement of the great mint of double mint gum. Oh man, that's funny. Okay. So they're like, okay, can they take the test? And the mom is like, okay, they can take the test. But then they asked them, hey, you should probably fail this test. Which
Yeah,
I wish my parents told me to fail this test. Actually, oh my God. Oh my God. I actually have a real life story about something like this actually happening.
Go on.
Okay, I'm gonna have to change some stuff to save this person's like identity. This person.
You already said it was your parents, possibly.
No, it's not my parents. No, it's not my parents. This person who I know, she was a very, very smart person when she was a kid. She was like, as a kid, she was like really, really smart. And she lived in Iraq, and she was on top of her class. And then one day she had to go and take this test, and this test means like she would go and like be recruited by the army or something. And her dad told her to fail the test, and she didn't want to fail. Her dad like yelled at her to fail, and she was like crying because she didn't want to fail the test. So she ended up listening to her dad. She failed. She was crying. And then the girl who got first place, like they came in the night and took her, and they never saw her again.
Spooky.
Isn't that crazy?
There's a plot here to a movie, and I don't know if you're fucking with me or if you're serious.
No, I'm not fucking with you. Honestly, I haven't even told you the craziest parts. There's like more to the story.
Oh,
It's just not relevant to it, but like it gets even crazier.
Okay.
And it gets really sad, and there's like a lot of death. Do not want to talk about it. Yeah,
Okay, then,
I
never
do.
mind.
Iraq is a crazy place. And America is to blame for a lot of the stuff that happened. For
Yep.
sure. But yeah. That's crazy. That like I just thought about that. That's insane. But yeah, so now they're taking these children, and then she ends up not failing the test because they do the same test that Mace Windu does. And instead of saying you're wrong, he says you're correct. And then she kind of outs herself a little bit.
Yeah, she's like, that's not a thing. It's like, how did you know it's not a thing?
But they took their blood, so they already know they have midichlorian in them, right?
Well, I mean, everybody has midichlorians and certain levels of it. They just don't know if they can still tap into it because there are people with high midichlorian counts that cannot tap into the Force.
Oh, that is true. Because I think like Leia is one of them, right? She's Force sensitive, but she probably does it. I don't know, whatever it is. All right, that's fine. But yeah, apparently they like the Jedi has a monopoly on the Force, and they're the only ones that can say how the Force can and cannot be used. It's almost like being the one religion and not letting other people practice religion their way. Weird, right? This coven is like so inclusive. They're like, they're LGBT and they practice their religion a different way. Where the Jedi are like orthodox and they're like, no, we got to do it this way. We got to indoctrinate the children when they're young, and it can only be done this way. And here's a gun while you have it. Second Amendment. They're Republicans.
God damn it, Neves! Don't make me hate Star Wars.
Listen, all I do is connect the threads. I don't make any assumptions. Yeah, I don't know. That was cool. And then what happens is she decides that she wants to go and be with the Jedis, and she takes her notebook and she had a Jedi symbol in her notebook, meaning she already had visions or dreams of the Jedi, which is why she came forward and talked to the Jedi and doesn't fear the Jedi and stuff like that, which is like why I have to take back my last statement. It's like, yo, Osha was annoying me because she was doing all these things. But once you find out that notebook, you're kind of like, oh, she had visions and stuff like that.
The Force was drawing her to this, and this was her destiny, as her mom said. You don't exactly pick. It's just, the luck of the draw, how destiny happens.
Yeah. Sanel has a great comment. She said Leia could have if she wanted to. She just started training, and they just wrote a dumb reason for her not to complete it. Yeah. The writing was pretty weak on that. I totally agree.
Which again comes back to the point, like, there are people with high midichlorian counts. They don't always have to be Jedi.
Yeah.
And the Jedi suck for trying to force everybody to be one way.
Yeah.
Technically, only a Sith deals in absolutes, yet for some reason, their
That's
way
an absolute.
is the absolute correct way. Yeah, weird.
But even that statement, only a Sith deals in absolute. It's an absolute.
Right, yeah.
Right? And then also, I don't necessarily disagree with the Sith's motto, which is peace is a lie. Peace usually is a lie because it means there's no freedom when there's like that kind of peace.
Yeah.
Right? Like people were claiming that there was peace before October of last year, and now there's war. But what was there before was not peace, it was oppression. It was just done so slowly that you could not register the violence in real time. Right? I'm just saying there's a lot of parallels here.
I mean, technically here at home we're at peace, technically, right?
Right. And then yes, of course we're at peace, and they're taking away reproductive rights and LGBTQ rights and all these other rights.
Oh my god, like how many people are being incarcerated every day? It's weird how that happens.
And it's weird how they're always one color, right? Or a majority of them are a certain color, or I don't know. It's very interesting. If the Jedi could have family, there would be more Force users who would want to join instead of having their kids snatched. You know what? You might have figured out the biggest plot hole in all of Star Wars. Yeah, maybe not kidnapping children would be a good idea.
Hold on. Let's explore this, because if they could get married and have kids, right?
Yeah.
Obi-Wan wouldn't have had to let go of his lover.
Yeah.
Anakin and would not have had to lose what's her
Padme
face? Natalie Portman.
and his
Padme,
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kids would have been there, and like a lot of problems would have been solved if the Jedi could get married and have kids and not, have like their biology
It's weird.
suppressed.
Yeah. It is weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. What is wrong with the Jedi's? And like I love the Jedi's. Like I cosplay as the Jedi. I've always loved them. But like the more you like learn about them, the more like you pull on the thread and like the whole thing just comes apart.
Yeah.
right.
And in fact, that is the reason I have a red lightsaber and not a traditional blue, green, and now lately a yellow one.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, that is true. The yellow ones are definitely cop ones because that's what all the
They are,
acolytes
yeah.
have.
The Sentinel ones, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, those are definitely. All right, we got some comments. Let's read some comments because I think we might have
Yeah.
lost a few.
We have a lot of comments, yeah.
Given how the mother says no violence, I could also see her be the one who ends up wiping out the entire coven. It means Osha can live her life without needing to look back. I don't know, man. That's crazy to wipe her over. I mean, it's
That's
possible.
dark.
That's honestly, I could see it. I could see that being a twist. That's a good enough twist where people would be like, "Oh shit." But yeah. Let's see. We got this one. Leia follows the Force because it seems logical, but realizes her heart isn't in the Force. She can't separate her anger and emotions of the war she was born into from a peaceful religion. Okay, that makes sense. Don't get me started on Shmi. The fact that they didn't go back and buy Anakin's mom's freedom is insane. They would have set her up on some distance.
She's right. She's right.
Yo, Anakin was 8 years old, and he was at least like 17, 18 by the time we see him in like the Clone Wars. Like for 10 years, he couldn't do anything for his mom. Like the fuck?
There's the inherent problem with Star Wars is that,
And they missed her by like a week. Like she only just died when he got there.
right? Like there's so much wrong with the premise of the Jedi.
Yeah. We need
They're
reform.
monks.
We
They're
need
forced
reform.
monks. It's so weird.
We need reform, bro. We need Jedi reform, and we need defund the Jedi's.
Hashtag defund the Jedi.
Where are the Jedi getting their money from? Think about it.
It's true. It's coming from the Senate, who is controlled by Palpatine. Weird how that happens.
Weird how that happens. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So apparently the Jedi have a monopoly on the Force. And what happens?
This really did become strangely political. Every time we talk, it's political for us. I don't know what's happening.
Half the word in Star Wars is war. If you can't get political about wars, like what are you gonna? What's the point of talking about it, right? Then if you take out all the political stuff of Star Wars, it's a children's show. It's really just a kids show. It's just lightsabers and right? Like,
and then a robot running around and screaming, right? Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
good show.
yeah. And like beep boop. That's all it is, man. All right. All right. So let's see what happens. She passes the trial. She tries to fail the test. We see Kelneka. He's just out there, making doing
hover bike. He was
hover bikes and stuff like that. Homeboy's not doing anything. Of course, they got him just chilling out there. And let's see what happens. She passes
the trial,
and then she goes and packs. She goes home and she packs to leave. And then Maeve finds her and she goes, "I'm not gonna stop you." And she was like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" And then she goes, "I'm gonna kill you." I'm like, "Oh shit, that escalated real quick."
0 to 100 very quickly.
I was like, "Excuse me." Did I hear that right?
You're gonna kill your sister, bruh? You okay?
That was so weird. That was so strange. And I don't know. And then she basically takes her notebook, sets it on fire, but we don't ever see her set the door on fire. And we're made to believe that she is the one that set the whole place on fire. But I don't think that's going to be true. I think something else is going to be true. But Soul conveniently lies and tells her that's what happens. Soul a lying motherfucker.
It's a lot of gaslighting.
so much gaslighting. That's probably what's fueling all the fires, the gaslighting.
The whole coven burned because of gaslighting. God damn it.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah. But also the whole fire thing is very reminiscent of kind of like when Ben Solo or Luke turned on each other because their academy was also set on fire and everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was done through Snoke or Palpatine through Snoke force messing with their heads.
No comment.
So it wouldn't be uncommon to believe that somebody might be force messing with May's head.
I wonder who that could be, and maybe that's why May ended up as an acolyte with this mysterious red lightsaber person.
But we don't know. It could have. I don't think it could have been any of their moms. That'd be a weird take.
The moms were dead. Like
They are dead.
Yeah, like.
So it has to be.
As Sanel says in this comment, like, I feel like what we see is only what Osha saw. Those Jedi felt guilty for a reason. Like when Torben took the poison.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
we'll
yeah.
learn the whole truth later on. It'll be devastating for Osha for sure. And yeah, like,
For
I would
sure.
not be surprised if the Jedi did it.
Yeah. I mean, look, Indara took a fruit like knife to the chest. And Torben drank the poison. Like these Jedi's willingly, right? And he took the vow, the Basha vow.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
So,
he was ready to like just leave the world and just live in the forest forever.
and Kalnaka is already like on an abandoned planet in like a Shrek's hut or something.
Hey man, homie's living his best life. You know,
Yeah.
moisturized, unbothered. Just let him be.
Do you need to moisturize when you have that much fur?
Hey man, in that tropical environment, it's just the air around you moisturizing you.
Where's homie getting shampoo? That's what I want to know.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Sunil says he asked for absolution too.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Very true. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's
we'll
the whole
see.
Bunta poison thing.
Yeah, but what we only saw everything from Osha's point of view. I think what's going to happen is the 5th episode, we're going to see everything from May's point of view, and that's going to answer a lot more questions. And also, the showrunners have said the 5th episode is the one that's going to make everybody go, "Oh shit!"
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see about
We're
that.
gonna have an oh shit moment on episode 5, and I cannot wait for that.
Yep. And at the end of the episode, we see May run back to the Bunta tree. And they're claiming there's not a single living soul there. And they did not see the body. They didn't see May die. All she did was fall. And she could have just force stopped herself. Also, Soul is a pretty shitty Jedi if he couldn't stop what's the name from falling.
2 kids?
Yeah. And he couldn't even force.
Okay, wait. In his
he couldn't
defense,
even force stop. No, he couldn't even force stop Osha. He grabbed her by the hand.
In his defense, he was a Padawan at the time.
Oh, he was a Padawan?
Yeah, Indara and
Torben
Kalnaka
was the
were
Padawan.
Jedi. No.
Oh,
Torben
Kalnaka was the Jedi.
Yeah, it was Torben and Sol that were Padawans at the time.
Oh.
They had the braid.
I didn't see Soul's braid. I did see Torben's braid.
Yeah, Sol had a braid, so he was a Padawan at the time. So I'm not gonna hit him too much on that. But where the fuck was Indara and Kalnaka at this point? Like, where's Torben for that matter? Like, why is Sol the only one going after these girls, saving them?
That's so weird. That's so weird. And like, first of all, like, how could a little fire like do that much damage? Like, cause like those Jedi didn't die from smoke inhalation. Like, what did they die from?
So, Travis makes a good point here. The rock of the building is black, which could be coal. Warmth, protection, transformation, coal in spiritual practices represents purification and grounding. It would make sense to use coal for ceremonial homes, likely just expecting that no one will go crazy and set it on fire. That's kind of a good point.
That is
really,
too good of a
this
point.
whole arc reactor kind of thing in the middle of the whole place that was blown up.
that's a good point, but it's too good of a point, and I don't think Star Wars did that. I'm sorry, Travis. I'm sorry. I don't think they did that.
Travis is a better writer
you
than the writers of Star Wars.
you should write for Star Wars.
Got you, man.
That was actually a great explanation, but like so,
Yeah.
but like I don't know, I'm still hoping to see something, and I'm really excited to see what's next. I'm liking this episode, but I think the show as a whole, like I think that's the whole thing with mysteries, right? If you're
It's a
basing your whole
slow
show on a mystery,
burn.
it's a slow burn, but like if the mystery
It's
is
a
good,
burn.
it's going to be good. But if the
Mhm.
revelation is bad, then like then what's the point of a mystery? Like you shouldn't be able to predict it. It's kind of like Knives Out. People love Knives Out because like the answer at the end is like, oh shit, it blew me away, right?
Right.
There's like twists and turns and stuff like that. But like once Knives Out becomes predictable, you're like, oh, there's no point to keep making these movies. I don't know. What are your thoughts? That's my view. I like the show, but I think it's so contingent on like what the payoff is going to be.
I agree with you. If it's not a good payout, people will be up in arms, and unfortunately, you end up justifying all the review bombers. Like, and I hate when that happens. Like,
and then they're gonna use
Yeah.
like people of color and LGBTQ and like all the woke stuff as like the reason why, when really it just wasn't a strong story.
bad writing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So,
And I don't want to say bad writing because we don't know yet. It could be like, well, we don't know the mystery. It could be amazing writings. Like like when you see shows like this, you have to think of the writing as a whole. If you look at the writing like episode by episode by episode, they may seem weak, but they might be weak on purpose to build up to something, right? So you can never judge weak writing based on just an episode. You got to watch. You can only judge the writing after it's complete, and the completeness is going to be at the end of the season.
Fair. Don't forget, like, there are other Star Wars episodes or series, quite frankly, that start off slow and end up being amazing. Like
Andor, fucking great.
Like, first couple of episodes, first episode was amazing, and second, third episode kind of went down. Then 4, 5, and 6 just like shot right back up. Like,
even in movies, like I feel like Rogue One started off really slow, and it's my favorite Star Wars movie. Like it's so good. And the best thing about it is the plot of that movie, because it's like
like know what's gonna happen.
It came from 10 seconds of dialogue and it turned into a whole movie, and you know how it's gonna end. And it was slow, and it had a multicultural cast led by a woman. It had all the formulas of like not being a good movie and turned to be one of the best, right? So
Not
like
one of the best Star Wars movie.
Yeah. So like all of the things that people use to make excuses for like movies being bad, that one has, and it's the best one. So it's so funny to me.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting for the payout. That's all I can say. We got 2 incredible people in the comments. I want to bring them on for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
so,
please
Sanel,
let us
Travis, yeah, follow Neebs, message him. That's his handle right there below his name at Watch with Neebs. We would love to have y'all on and just talk through this. So
we've had Sanel on our show before. She's been on our Bridgerton episode, so she knows the deal. She can.
You know what? I've never been I wasn't on the Bridgerton episode last time.
Yeah.
We
should actually do another Bridgerton episode, by the way. So Sanel, once the episode
when the next 4 drop tomorrow.
Yeah, when the next 4 drop, we should do it after that one. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Someone says
House of the Dragon dropped tonight, and oh my god.
Yes. So we are going to be doing an episode of House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon is our most popular podcast, so please tune in for that. Sometimes we have like 100 people in the comments for House of the Dragon, so hopefully we can ignite that fire and get that much people in our comments again.
I mean, it's straight up blood and cheese. Like, let's go.
That episode was devastating. I'm not going to say more. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you everyone for joining us in the comments. Thank you to Travis. Thank you to Sanel. Thank you everybody who is joining us. We will have another Star Wars episode on Wednesday, hopefully. Monday will be the House of the Dragon. And then we still got to do Doctor Who.
Bridgerton.
And we got to do Bridgerton. Yeah. So we'll figure out a time to do that. But yes, thank you everybody for joining us. And until next time, guys, Salaam, nerds.
Peace.